Okay. Continuing from yesterday, I actually finished putting together some of the chassis into the cabinet to do some testing. And there was a short actually, very briefly, so I ended up making a current limiter and retesting, and I was able to get volume out of the normal channel, but the vibrato channel was super noisy compared to the normal channel, which tells me that something is up with our filter capacitors. And these aren't great looking caps brand wise. I did check the resistors, but I did not actually go through and check the capacitors, which I think was a huge mistake on my part. So, lesson learned. I'll actually just tip each one of these up and check it. I also think my GZ34 is going bad, since there's a pretty noticeable hum on it. Oh, these guys, whoever did this, really could have screwed me here, because they seem to have wrapped the leads these capacitors around I'm just not entirely sure what's going on here. This is fun to document because I feel like, well, actually I don't know that I've fully recorded my super reverb repair, but it's funny, that one went so much smoother. I got so lucky with that one. So they cut the old filter caps out and left this wire in place to wrap around. That's fun. So now that the caps are out of the circuit, we can test them individually. .34 should be 33 as it's on the circuit, but I believe this is supposed to be 16s. I did have my bias probes in, and I was getting about 400 steady volts to the power tubes and about 20 milliamps, which is a little warm, but not outrageous. I'm not. The short was happening before I even turned the standby switch on initially, which is why I think it's a GZ34. And I'm thankful I didn't blow up my power transformer. Yeah, 16's at 450. These are 33 at 450. I don't think that's necessarily bad, but the quality of cap is definitely questionable. Zycon. Alright, well, let's just keep going down the line. So this was before, this is on our these two reservoir caps rather are ahead of the standby switch, so I would just want to look at these. Potentially it's just a bad connection. on the positive end of these. I ordered some replacements. I think I'm just going to replace all these caps for good measure. But there was a lot of noise on the vibrato channel. So I think replace these, see how it goes. And if that fixes a problem, great. I think it typically does. But if not, then the next place to check would be the coupling caps. Did they do the same thing onto me here? There we go. It's just taking a while to heat up. Yeah, they tried to hook it into the existing wire. I'm going to see if I can actually remove those old wires. I'm not getting a reading. It's kind of a bad connection on my leads here. There we go. Yeah, I think I have a bad filter cap because that jumped from it's jumping around. Now it's saying 50 microfarad. Yeah, I suspect this guy's not good. It jumped down to 2, then went up to 50. Now we're at 2 again. Actually, if there's a short, then that would also be a very big problem. There shouldn't be any connection between the two. Yeah, it's a very large resistance. Okay, so I'm not sure. That cap is good. And that would be on our reservoir, which would potentially cause some issues. Actually, let me see what the circuit has for that. This is right ahead of the standby switch. Yeah, okay, so we have transformer hooked into the GZ34 here. Then a transformer for here, which feeds our reservoir caps. But that's definitely part of the circuit, so if there was maybe some oscillations or something happening, I'm not sure. That could be probably hurting my my rectifier tube, so that's not good. Yeah, so I think it was stupid of me to turn this on again without actually checking these first. Oh, look at that. There's some, well, I don't know if that's from this cap or not, actually, but the underside of it's not looking too hot. Looks like there's some leakage. Oh, okay, so yeah, that's a bad cap. Well, I got really lucky and blow the power transformer then. Fingers crossed, I'm gonna check those resistances just to be safe. But you know what? I'm not even gonna allow myself to turn this on again until these are replaced. I already have the new ones ordered, so that's good to go. We'll get there. Yeah, there's some damage to the top of this cap. I can't be 100% sure. That the leakage here is from this cap, but considering it's all over the body over here, and there's a visible hole on the top. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah. So I'm just gonna remove these, replace them. The 10K resistors were okay. Actually, some gunk all over the top of all these caps. Except this one. This is the cleanest one. Let's just lift these three. These are after the reservoir. And after the reservoir, I believe B feeds the reverb drivers. B or C, I have to look on the schematic. This is a huge glob. Oh, there we go, never mind. I really hate the tech who did this, man. Why'd you do this to me? Why did you do this to me? Just wrap it around this. Just take the damn thing out. Yeah, they hooked it to the to this lead. Can I even pull this lead out? It might be tied underneath the board. To the chassis, I mean. Yeah. That's okay. Same thing. Yeah, so I think these are few problems here. Probably some bad connections. with an unstable source of DC voltage and the potential of leakage would introduce noise. There's plenty of examples on YouTube of bad filter capacitor noise, and that's exactly what I was hearing. Since these are all in parallel with each other, they're coupled. But these all tested okay, so, and that's sort of consistent with what I noticed with the normal channel working and the vibrato channel not working. And just sort of sanity check that. Quickly respond to something. Yeah, so what I was going to do is so B, C, D, we can look at, these are our filter caps after the reservoir. Am I showing the right thing? Yeah, okay. So if we flip the standby switch, then we start engaging the remaining filter capacitors in the circuit. Some of these feed to the plate or anode of the gain stage here. So if we look at here, that goes here. This feeds the plates of our input signals for channel 1 straight off of D. And this is coming from B, AT7, B feeds transformer 4 to the plate of the AT7, reverb driver. So B would be up here. Yeah, I mean, that would introduce noise directly and actually potentially fry my two transformers if there was a short. And so maybe that cap was working intermittently and then stopped working and then worked again. Yeah, that was risky and stupid. Won't do that again, but. And then D feeds. Yeah, so basically plates throughout the circuit. If we have issues with our filter capacitors, would introduce noise. Yeah, okay. And then our filter choke. So that would do some filtering, and then the caps would slowly smooth out the DC. So if it was rocky to begin with, it would stay rocky through transformer 2, and then just carry forward to the amplification. Okay. and that was one of our filter, because it actually was capacitors in parallel add, so potentially we're just half the amount of capacitance on ahead of the standby switch. And if there was an internal short, that would also cause an issue. So yeah, I think I found my problem. We'll see, because I tested all the resistors, and I did look at some of the coupling caps up here for these 0.0, or not 0.01, 0.1 microfarad caps for the coupling between the AT7, but I should probably check 0.1s just throughout between the stages. But definitely I think replacing the filter caps will be a required step before turning this on again. Yep. So let's just turn this back on and finish taking these out. These aren't, the quality on these caps don't give me the greatest confidence here. You can check our wire connections between the GZ34 and then our reservoir caps as well. And the rectifier diode for the DC bias was changed as well. So trying to think of all the other places to check here. I did check all my heaters to see if there's a short to ground on any of my heaters as potentially the cause. And I don't think there was, but if I got some unstable voltage to the reverb driver, I could have damaged my tube. Although I was getting consistent reading on all my coupling caps. I do remember checking those blue molded caps. I wasn't getting readings that jumped around like that filter cap. So I'll double check just to make sure, but and if only just to redo this, so these are not hooked in to the old lead, I would replace these caps. This is just so annoying to deal with. Am I iron on? Just a shitload of solder here, I guess. Yeah, they're just hooking it in. I remember I had to do the same thing when I was putting this cap back as well. It was strained. I ordered another GZ34 as well, just to be safe, because the thing was buzzing pretty loud. And a buzz isn't horrible. I think the GZ34 is kind of a noisy tube. but I did hear some pops, and that I know is not good. So it might be on at the end of its life. Come on, man. Really hate what they did. There we go. Oh, this one's even worse. Yeah, man, they just cut it and then left about 5 miles of the original lead on here. But they didn't even leave me the caps. That would have been nice. I would have been less mad if they at least left me the caps. And I think I can sort of show you guys here. So that was a cap with a problem, and it left some residue here. So I'm going to clean that up and then wait for the new caps to come in. All right, talk soon.